entrepreneurs, guilds, and GameFi studios. Our major sponsors: Draper Startup House, a global accommodation accelerator, incubator, and co-working space for entrepreneurs. Delysium, the first playable AAA Web3 game. FDev, Philinvest Development Corporation. Digital Foundry is a venture studio in the Philippines that takes up startup ideas from lab to market scale-up. Filipino Web3 Festival is a week-long Web3 celebration in the metaverse's hottest destination. Our minor sponsors: Moneybees, an over-the-counter crypto exchange platform. Bidax, a BSP licensed cryptocurrency exchange that enables the traders to buy and sell digital assets directly with PHP. Tetrix, an interconnected ecosystem that aims to bridge the gap among all blockchain projects. Special thanks to our media partners. The Mega Maxi is the premier Web3 media company for the savvy and the curious, creating today and building tomorrow. Crypto Slate is a comprehensive and contextualized source for crypto news, insights, and data. Wheninmanila.com is an online metro guidebook focused on Manila and in the Philippines. Crypto.news is a market-leading crypto online media publication that provides the latest news and market updates from the crypto ecosystem. NFT.news is a market-leading NFT online media publication providing the latest news and market updates from the non-fungible tokens ecosystem. LiveCatch PH is an online event live streaming and a video production company. Our community partners: Filipinas NFT is a women-led community in the Philippines composed of creators, artists, collectors, and builders in the Web3 space. Crypto Pinas is a Filipino crypto community for newbies, veterans, and discuss blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and more. DevCon is a non-profit organization that empowers Filipino developers and future geeks. Social Media Marketing PH is a marketing community for freelancers and social media managers on Facebook. Startup Academy is the first digital marketing school in the Philippines that offers comprehensive training and one-on-one coaching programs. FH Moms is a social enterprise and the first and biggest Pinay moms community that delivers accessible upskilling courses and linkage to strong community ties. And our swag partners. Swag by Quote is a B2B merchandise platform that provides premium and top-notch, memorable quality gift experience. Lastly, on behalf of Web3PH, we would like to extend our gratitude to all our volunteers offline and online for working tirelessly to bring this event to life. Again, this event will be definitely incomplete without a fun little game. Unfortunately, Tetrix prepared an exciting quest for all of us with a very, very special prize, which you saw a while ago that Chris presented. Participate and get a chance to win our very own link card. Here are the simple mechanics. One, follow Web3PH Summit on of the first ever Web3PH Summit happening here at Draper Startup House. This morning's event is entitled KYC, Know Your Codes in Blockchain. This session will be a series of lightning talks where each speaker will discuss their expertise in blockchain. So for today's session, we will be joined by our first speaker. Our first speaker again is Mr. Emma Navalan, the CEO of Tetrix Network. Tetrix is an interconnected ecosystem that aims to bridge the gap by accommodating users with any expertise from early to Web2 companies exploring Web3.
So, good morning. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining us again today, this morning, this gloomy morning. So, welcome to Web3 PH Summit 2022, organized by, of course, the group here, the volunteers here. Thank you very much. So, we'll talk about, first and foremost, interoperability of blockchain networks and how will this affect mass adoption. No? And the reason. So, okay. So this is the topic, importance of interoperability for Web3 adoption. So let us first understand the problems right now. For current users, right, I have summarized it into two main problems, and of course for builders, people who are trying to create their projects with two problems as well. The first one, as users, currently, right now, if you are trying to navigate and trying to explore Web3, you're always having an issue with limited utility. For example, if you're built on, you're using Ethereum platforms, EVMs, stuff like that, you're limited to that ecosystem. And that's the same for, like, for example, if you're venturing into Solana, if you're you're into NFTs rather. So interoperability is something that would expand that, right? Next is that it always feels like, for example, for a new person coming in, it always feels like it's a step backwards. You know why? Because it's not entirely user-friendly for most, okay? Different protocols, different projects have their own way of doing things. There's no standard, like, for example, that we have in Web2 solutions, like, for example, financial systems, wherein you know the steps that you have to first register and then have your documents in, and then that's the time you use the application for transactions, something like that. So we do have standards for wallets, yes, but we don't have standards for builders, aside from Ethereum, of course, which is very big. So we use the standards of Ethereum in most of our projects. So that's in conjunction with the problems of builders, right? So for builders, if you want to build your application and you want to cater to ecosystems that include Ethereum and non-Ethereum blockchain networks or projects in both chains or different chains, you have to develop your app to allow that to happen. There's no immediate solution wherein you just connect your app to this and it solves all of your problems, meaning all the chains are already there. Later on, it will be discussed by one of our speakers regarding the different types of blockchains or DLTs, right? Next is the inability to utilize the best in all networks. So for example, Ethereum, what the main problem of builders is that it's very expensive to build on it, right? So if you're trying to test or when you're trying to do your development, it's really not that cost effective. And you would want to be cost effective at the same time and have the community participate in your project. So you want the best of two worlds or multiple worlds, when you're creating your project, but that's not available. That's not readily available for us. So the solution for that is interoperability between different networks, meaning it is the ability to access, or which means share, communicate, and transact with multiple chains, not just two chains, but multiple chains, right? Without leaving the decentralized system. So that's very important, with freedom, and of course without sacrificing your security, okay? This is expected from any blockchain or any DLT solution or technology. So what are the current examples of these interoperability solutions, okay? We may see usually cross-chain or bridge applications. So these are used when you're trying to, for example, if you have USDT or USDC, these stable coins, and you wanted it converted from one chain to another. So these are the solutions that you're currently using, cross-chain and bridge solutions. Okay? The other one would be interoperable blockchains. So there are blockchains out there that are not entirely the third one, right? That allows one chain to connect to another chain or have your own chain connect to their chain that connects you to another blockchain. So these are architectures, or I would say how network works, no? How you interact or communicate or access. And lastly, we have layer zero protocols. These are protocols that encompass different blockchain networks. So uh, these are the three examples of interoperability solutions that we are facing right now, or projects are building on right now. So again, going back, why is it very important for us to have interoperability? So first, it's going to be easier. You think of it as having one solution wherein if you connect to that, you can now unlock ecosystems from different chains. Like for example, Ethereum, Solana, Near, or any other blockchain networks. May it be EVM or may it be enterprise use cases like Corda, right? So these are not seen right now because currently we're very early and we're trying to build sustainable use cases on top pa. And now we're seeing that this is one of the problems. And now we're building and of course improving on systems and networks. Third is of course it's easier for you if you have one because it's going to be just one transaction instead of bridging and bridging and bridging or connecting it and then transferring it. Those will incur additional costs. Like for example, if you want to exchange your cryptocurrency into a currency of another network, and if you're using DeFi solutions, you would have to transfer that to a bridge application, and from there, there are quite a few transactions, and it would take time. Aside from being expensive, it would take time for the transaction to be to happen. Fourth is that, again, going back, no, if you have better user experience and if you have builders easily build platforms, it would be easier to onboard, right? It would be easier for our more traditional forms of, or I would say, our traditional apps in Web 2 to jump into Web 3. Because some of their functionalities doesn't really work with existing blockchain networks. They have to build their own, okay? This includes, of course, privacy and stuff like that. So they have their own reasons why they couldn't build on top of Ethereum, for example, or they better build on Bitcoin instead of Ethereum, or they better build on Solana rather than build on Ethereum. So this would be better for us as users because interoperability would allow us to penetrate different blockchain networks and experience what they have, okay? And of course, with that, we will then improve our use cases. We will then move forward with more ideas, right? And more innovation in how we could integrate blockchain to whatever we do in our day-to-day lives, right? So these five things would collectively bring in more people to experience Web3. Okay, so with that, I end my talk, and I'd like to invite you all to please continue to stay tuned for the next speakers. Right, thank you.
Hello. A round of applause again, please, for Mr. Eman. We have our next speaker. Her name is Miss Ia Nuestro, the Senior Product Manager of Talino Venture Labs. Talino Venture Labs is on a mission to bridge the financial inclusion gap for 1.7 billion people around the world. Through the successful venture studio model, they build reputable, scalable, and profitable fintech that empower undeserved, underrepresented groups across the globe with financial access and mobility. Again, a round of applause for Miss Ia Nuestro.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for being here despite the rain. We really appreciate that. And with that, we're going to discuss the hows and whys of distributed ledgers. So the aim of this talk is to give us a brief, kind of layman's term understanding of distributed ledgers. Ayan, dalawa yung title. So the agenda for this talk is what's a ledger? So we're going to understand the ledger, DLT, and we're going to do a bit of deconstruction for decentralization. We're going to discuss, just so we all understand, how we can apply DLT in real life. So, what is a ledger? So, from your accounting background, I know you know it as the book that contains the debit credits. What I want you to take away from the ledger is that a ledger is a book of or collection of accounts in which account transactions are recorded. So please focus on the account transactions are recorded because as much as we use the term ledger, it's really like an audit log na when you log in, for example, you use your keyguard, you log in, there's no way you're taking that back. There's no way you're editing it and saying, oh, I logged in at 8, but I decide that I want to put it at 7:30. Now that we have an understanding of what a ledger is, we're gonna go to what is distributed ledger technology. So distributed ledger technology is basically the technological infrastructure and protocols that allow the simultaneous access, validation, and updating of records that characterizes distributed ledgers. In short, DLT is what makes DLs, distributed ledgers, possible. Now, what is a distributed ledger? A distributed ledger is a database shared. I'll be diving into that later. Shared by multiple participants of a decentralized network in which each participant maintains and updates a synchronized copy of data. So what is a distributed ledger? Basically, it's a database. It's a list of records that a lot of people in the same network have copies. And then if one person or if that record is updated, everything else, every single copy will be updated synchronously. So I want you to focus on decentralization. This is the basic concept on how do we wrap our heads around how do you synchronously update the records and the ledger. So sa decentralized architecture, every node is autonomous and self-contained so that if one node goes down, your ledger is still accessible. For tech people, we can compare it to how you do horizontal scaling in your instances. And for tech at heart people, we can compare it to peer-to-peer network. So most of us, if not all, have experience with peer-to-peer network. And that's what we're gonna focus on in this example. Yeah. So what's a peer-to-peer network? It's basically computing devices that are connected and they can serve as both a server and a client. One of the common examples that I can share with you is BitTorrent technology. Sorry, I know it's not, it's kinda related to piracy, but we're focusing on the technology, okay? So BitTorrent, when you download a file, you're actually accessing the file from different people or different devices. And those are called seeders. Someone who has downloaded the file completely on his computer and now he is sharing it with others. So when you download, you actually request copies from each of them. Kaya pag maraming seeders, mabilis ang download mo. What are the key features of DLT? So DLT is immutable. It utilizes cryptography. What does it mean? When a file is edited, it's not the same file anymore. So you cannot attribute that file to the previous linking or the previous file that you were referring to. For example, si project 1 is different from project final 1, just like our thesis. And then the next fee attributed. Every peer, every seeder has a copy. There's no single place, so that if, for example, I'm seeder number 1, I pulled out the file, you still have seeder 2, 3, 4, X, and so on and so forth. And then the next one is it's append only. Similar to my example a while ago of logins and logouts, you can only add those records. You cannot alter the previous records. This is a very common question that I would like you to remember. Is blockchain the same as DLT? Definitely not. Blockchain is only a type of DLT. You will be able to find different types and implementations of DLT. Besides blockchain, you have hash graph, you have DAG, you have holochain, and you have tempo. So if you want to delve into DLT, blockchain is not your only choice. What are the industry use cases of DLT? Why would I need distributed ledgers? How does it help my company? How does it help myself? So, for example, in fintech, the transactions, your previous credits, your previous withdrawals and deposits, they cannot be fudged. They are undeniable. They are undeniably authentic. So, for example, KYC, verifying that the person is definitely the person, you can use DLT. For health services, you can verify patient records shared across industries owned by the patients themselves. And for emergency scenarios, for example, a specific hospital needs the patient records, they can access it even if their own system is down. They can access it through another node and system. For certification providers, when a certification provider issues a certificate to you, companies will be able to verify if they are legit because it's so easy to forge them. And then for audit and compliance, being that DLTs are append only, it's very easy for them to submit and verify that the records are not forged, not fudged, not editable. So, for the industry use cases of DLT, these are what we have. But of course, there are tons more, and there will be tons more coming. So, if you have any questions for DLT, my email is open, my LinkedIn is open, but of course, right now, the floor is open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Iya, for that talk. Again, our last presenter we have
Glenn.
We have Mr. Jeffrey Reyes, the CEO of Tiwala. Tiwala is an app that allows you or your customers to easily sign legally binding documents online using any laptop or smartphone. Digitally transform your business with a legally binding and secure electronic signature powered by blockchain smart contracts. Again, this is Mr. Jeffrey Reyes, the CEO of Tiwala. A round of applause, please.
Hello, everyone. Thank you and good morning. I'm glad we made it here despite the rain. So yeah, a very good topic prior to my discussion. I'm discussing like a very specific use case for blockchain technology or DLT technology. So this is Tiwala. So it's from the word Tiwala, so trust. So earlier, I discussed what blockchain is. No? So just a quick review. No? So it's a network of different nodes. No? And it's also a series of hashes, series of transactions linked together through cryptography. And just to highlight one features of blockchain or DLT is the immutable characteristics of the networks. No? So, yung use case namin is kind of around that. So, since immutable ang transactions and auditable and traceable, no? So the perfect use case for that is through identification and verification of documents, credentials, and IDs. So the concept that we implemented within Tuala ecosystem, no, is that the current way of proving your the authenticity of your identity, documents, and credentials is broken. No? So right now, when we want to like do our transactions physically, no, if we want to do business together, we have to be able to trust each other. And how do we build trust? No, if you want to apply for a bank account, you show your physical IDs, tama? Or if you want to apply for a job, you show your diplomas. But when we moved to the digital world, it became more complicated, right? Right now, if you want to open a bank account online, you have to take a picture of your IDs, and you have to take a selfie, and then you upload it to multiple websites, multiple apps, right? So imagine how much of your data is out there. No, and you don't have any control of it. Like you're receiving spammy texts with your name on it, right? So, and as a result of that, no, around $5 trillion were lost last 2020 due to fraud, no, and around 32 billions were lost for payment fraud alone, no, and it was triple of what it was in 2011, no, and it's expected to grow 25% by 2027. So that's how big, no, identity theft, financial fraud, and credentials fraud in the market. No. So the current digital document signing technology that we're using today is what we call the public key infrastructure. So it's also powered by cryptography. So right now, like all of the electronic signature platform that you are using, no, the common, are powered by the public key infrastructure. So the Philippine National Public Key Infrastructure of the DACT also uses the same technology. It's an old technology, 1970s technology, but hindi talaga natin siya ginamit, no? So we're using electronic signatures, but public key infrastructure is actually about digital signatures, which is the use of public certificates, no, yung mga digital certificates. So what we did with Tuala is we created a decentralized public key infrastructure. Kasi sobrang hirap gamitin nung PKI technology. That's why the world never adopted it. No? Even the DACTP and PKI has been there for, I think, more than 12 years. No? But the government never used it. You never used it. So specific, dahil sa reason na, number one, mahal siya. It's hardware dependent. It's very difficult to use. No? You need some technical level of expertise para magamit mo siya. And it's hardware dependent. So, bibili ka ng mga tokens na inilalagay mo sa laptop, tapos saka mo siya gagamitin. So, at hindi niya pwedeng gamitin sa parallel signing. No? So, you have to sign it serially. And you can't use it standalone. You still need to use Adobe Acrobat Reader to do it. No? So, what we did is we created a decentralized PKI based on EVM networks. So, and it can power other technologies as well, no? So you have all the use cases there, and the security is 100 times stronger than the PKI since ano siya, centralized. So this one is decentralized. So kanina, di ba, sinabi yung immutability ng databases. So ang mangyayari, no, pag centralized yung database mo, ma-hack lang yung root certificate ng PKI system na yon, hack na lahat. And it happened before. No? So a university in Germany, in 2019, they discovered this shadow attack na tinatawag, that you can actually change the content of a PDF file even after digitally signing it. No? At nangyari din na na-hack yung root certificate before ng provider ng Google, yung mga TLS, SSL certificate nila. No? And if for you to be able to do that in a decentralized manner, you will have to hack all the nodes, no? Launch a 51% attack, and that might cost billions of dollars. So it's economically impossible to do it, no? So right now, if you want to get like identification credentials from government, you'll get birth certificate, you'll get diploma, isasabit mo siya. Pag nasabit mo na, kailangan mo ulit kumuha ng panibago para i-submit sa other institutions, no? Tapos hindi sila nag-uusap-usap. So if you want to verify authenticity of your diploma, you will have to call your universities, no? At you have to do that every time. So sobrang difficult, no, ng verification, authentication ng mga documents and IDs. So what we built is we built a decentralized self-sovereign digital identification system using Tuala ID. No? So instead of these institutions giving you like a paper-based credentials IDs, so magbibigay na sila ng digital version nun. So it's a cryptographically verifiable IDs and documents that you can actually store on your mobile phone. So imagine a digital wallet, diba? You have your driver's license, you have your passports, and all your credentials, no? And you can prove the authenticity of your documents, your credentials, without actually revealing the actual information. So it's called the zero-knowledge proof technology. No? So protected din kayo sa mga cyber attacks because passwordless. So this is the infrastructure ng decentralized digital ID system. So you have the issuer and you have the verifier, and all of your information are encrypted on-chain. No? So we don't store information on-chain. It's just the cryptographic hashes na ang may access lang ay kayo using your mobile phone with your private signing keys. So just like the usual wallet ng cryptos. So SSID enables full control of your data, and of course, it protects against ID and document fraud risk. No? So darating yung panahon na when you apply for a bank account, you'll just scan a QR code and you're done. You're verified. You don't need to take a selfie, take a picture of your ID. No? And you can do that transacting through the government, transacting private systems. No? So we're basically tokenizing identities. No? So parang NFTs. No? And have you heard of SBTs? So it's the same technology. So just to give you a brief background of how big is this market, so it's around 170 billion globally. And in the Philippines, there are 63.24 million adults who use a smartphone. So ito lahat yung possible use cases ng digital identity. No? So it can power all use cases, both the public and the private sectors. So right now, Tuala is being used by at least 300 companies, and we are part of the blockchain program of the Department of Science and Technology, and we are also part of the Startup Grant Fund, so we receive funding from the DUST to help other government agencies implement use cases for blockchain technology. Now, so soon, you'll be able to use Tuala in transacting with different government agencies and different companies, no, with your identity. And we're hoping that it can change, no, how the way we do business in the Philippines and how we build trust online. No? So I guess I'm okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jeffrey Reyes, for that talk. I hope you guys were able to understand a thing or two. Again, we thank you for coming here despite the weather. Again, we thank you also the speakers for joining us in today's session. Next up, we have someone will talk about Codiverse, and that is no other than Miss Shumate Arroyo, the Managing Director of DevCon. A round of applause, please.
Hello, good morning. Hindi po ako ang host, but guys, thank you for coming today. This is on the spot for me, for those watching on live stream. Super thank you for supporting us in spite of the weather. But for those people here, almost half puno tayo pa rin, kahit paano. Thank you guys. Okay, let me share with you Codiverse, and let me catch my breath first kasi galing po ako sa taas. Okay, so I'm the Managing Director of DevCon. And DevCon is actually been in the industry for 13 years as a non-profit organization. Sorry guys. Anyway, so we've been upskilling and reskilling tech talents since 2009. We have 6 chapters across the Philippines, and we partner with Web3 PH, friends with these guys, passionate community builders in the industry. And the Codiverse that I'll be sharing with you is the latest project of DevCon. We have DevCon kids teaching 9 to 15 years old about coding, um, Roblox, whatever, ano pa ba yung mga game development, scratch programming. We've been doing Hour of Code across different chapters of DevCon. And the latest project namin is what we call Codiverse. Yung mascot is what we call him Cody. And of course, being in the Web3 space, sabi namin dapat di tayo magpahuli. That's why we came up with the Codiverse. It is actually an NFT that supports our scholars. And in 3 years, we're planning to reach out 50,000 scholars, not just in the Philippines, but even outside the country. Just to let you know, Codiverse is a native Web3 company that provides scholarships for tomorrow's geniuses. The robot in the photo is still our little cyber kuya. His name is Cody. So we have a hashtag Comsci Kids. And to be honest, we've been doing a lot of DevCon Kids initiatives since 2018. We've already had 1,400 scholars in our network, and lahat yon, we're proud. Some of them are actually teaching na even our own classes. So if you have kids, nephew, ages 9 to 15 years old, and you want them to learn about STEM education, you can actually reach out to DevCon Kids. So these are some of the designs that we have for NFT. And if you want to get one Codiverse namin, actually, you can just go to codiverse.io, and every Codiverse that you get, you will actually support one student. So imagine the impact of it. And recently, how all this work muna? Donors purchase NFTs, of course. I have to walk you through on this one. Tokens scored Sparkles are awarded to both donors and scholars. And then for donors, Sparkles award provenance and proof of donation. For scholars naman, Sparkles provide enrollment status, a class record, and a proof of completion. So we've been doing this activity. We actually finished in the other week or the other day yata in Cagayan de Oro. And then last month, we went to Davao to organize these activities. And I'm not sure if it's in the slide. Okay, some of those activities as actually we had in the Philippines, meaning DevCon is not limited with our geography in the Philippines lang, but we actually have Codiverse in LA in partnership with World Economic Forum, Young Global Leaders. So we created a big expo wherein children of Crenshaw Faith Church attended and experienced all the activations that we had for the Codiverse. So pretty great here. So you will see some of the snapshots here in the photo. Medyo unclear lang siya. But we've been doing this activity together with our lead learners. So for perhaps wala kayong pamangkin or any younger kids na pwede nyo i-join up, you also have an opportunity, not just buying NFT, but actually if you want to teach and become a lead learner for our DevCon Kids program, we're really looking for adults that these young kids can actually look up into. So kung gusto nyo magturo, you can actually just approach me after this session, o kaya just check DevCon Kids at Facebook, and then support us in any way that you can, either as a volunteer, a lead learner, buy an NFT. Kung gusto nyo, damihan nyo po yung NFT para more scholars that we can reach in the coming years, okay? So it's an international event with LA communities in partnership with World Economic Forum. As I mentioned, even though we have 6 chapters across the country, we want to reach as many kids as possible, okay? And we, as a tagline nga namin, sponsoring the next geniuses of the country. So it's not something na limited to whatever race that or location that we have. But you will see some of the photos here, may mga kids talaga na in different country or races, okay? Now, to help us reach 50,000 scholars, these are some of our links that you can check. Hopefully, guys, take the time to check. It's not, and you can see all the designs created there. Meron akong type doon yung parang si Jose Rizal. May version kami ng mga local heroes that were created, and some of it are punky Jose Rizal, Bonifacio. Different variations, different when we're doing it. Even ako, I'm a non-tech person, but when the team is doing the minting process, sabi ko, shucks, I just want to get an NFT at all. Yun lang yung pwede kong i-contribute and support other people, the kids in particular. So with that, guys, here in the audience and those watching on stream, hopefully you can check our 2 links. Bakit dalawang link? Of course, we have to understand not everyone knows meron ng wallet. That's why we came up with a Shopify for us to be your custodial wallet. Tama ba, Iya? O, di ba may alam na ako sa ano? Pero syempre, yeah. Of course, this is our project. This is our baby. So if you don't have any wallet yet, you can go to codeversemyshopify.com and then choose lang kung ano yung type ninyo, and we will be the one to do everything for you for at this moment. Pero syempre, roadmap namin, we really want to come up with our own. Even the kids will have their own metaverse feel whenever we do our sessions in the future. So if you're a company, nag-pitch no? If you're a company who would like to support these scholars, if you're an individual who would like to teach and raise new geniuses, or if you have a lot of NFTs or marami kayong crypto dyan, share nyo sa amin. Okay, there are a lot of ways that we can reach out. Remember, the #1 talent in the country, the #1 problem in the country, talent. If we don't keep up with the demands of the industry, and these generations, younger generations, are not equipped properly with the technology that they have to be for the next requirements of the Industry 4.0, it will be hard for everyone. Companies will fail because wala silang CTO, right? So everything is like a domino effect. So with that, hopefully, you still enjoy the rest of the day. And with that, here are our website for you to check and hopefully consider the Codeverse for your collections. With that, thank you guys. Okay, wearing my different hat now. So we still have 9:49. Eman is here. Siguro, kasi the topic is know your codes, building your KYC, know your codes in blockchains. I would like siguro, let's take some time for just a few minutes to bring in our speakers here to open the floor for any question. Kasi I like Tetrix. Sabi, nung namimigay sila, thank you pala Tetrix for the link card, the entire volunteer team of Web3. Sabi nila, mamimigay mo sila sa amin. Sabi ko, let's ask. Thank you, Eman. But I would like to call on our speakers on stage. Let's have the questions if you want. Ako, I know these people. Go ahead, guys. I've met Iya, of course, is in the Talino. And then, have a seat, guys. Sige, tuloy kayo sa bahay ko. Come on. Sige, I'll stay here. Okay, we have here a microphone. This is an on-the-spot Q&A, but just taking the time. Kasi we have here an audience. I know you have questions. Siguro, nakinig naman kayo. Wala kaming exam. Okay, just to give you background, si Jeffrey from Tuala actually supported DevCon's project during the pandemic, the DCTX. As in, sila yung mga 1,300 volunteers on site who built 4 open source project in 3 months. Saka nakakita nun. Kami mga puyat-puyat, we work with the IATF, DOST for the Relief Agad Rapid Pass. Ang dami. So guys, unahin ko muna si Eman. Eman, how was it during that day, 2020 to Wala today? Kasi nakita ko yung growth nila. Ang dami nilang project. Can you share the latest like collaborations you're doing right now in the government in relation to Wala?
Yeah, hello. So, hindi naging madali lahat for us. So, unlike any other startups na you build and you go to the market ready, no? So, sa amin, sobrang daming barriers. Number one, like since the main product is actually the digital ID before, no? But then, when we were discussing to businesses, even to governments, they can't understand, like, what the hell is like a digital ID, no? So, okay, so we think of a way na we need to have something so they can appreciate and ano ba yung ginagawa ng digital ID. So wala kaming choice, so we built Tuala Sign. So it's a digital signing platform and powered by blockchain technology. Siya yung unang-unang use case ng Tuala ID namin. So when we show them na, dito ginagamit yung Tuala ID. So, okay, yun pala yung value ng Tuala ID. So, and dahil nag-build kami ng Tuala Sign, no, again, meron naman barrier, no, dahil it's a legal tech, no? So it's a mix of the complexity of legal and the complexity of technology, tas blockchain pa siya, no? So parang intimidating na yung blockchain part, intimidating din yung legal part, because if you look at the E-commerce Act, no, it was enacted year 2000, so 22 years, no? And it talks about public cryptographic system. And even the lawyers, like, what the hell is cryptography, diba? So we have to explain to them ano ba yung legalities ng electronic signature and digital signature and how it relates to blockchain. So hindi siya naging madali. So nakakuha kami ng mga users, no? And laging tanong sa amin ng mga companies, will the government accept that document? If it reaches the courts, will they be able to accept that? Is it legally binding? Is it court admissible? So those are the questions na hindi namin masagot nung una. So we assembled lawyers, we created a legal white paper, we consulted those who actually created the law, no, and we studied like how other country systems are working. So hindi lang legal system ng Pilipinas yung pinag-aralan namin. We have to learn the US laws, the EU laws, and how it relates, no? At connected din siya kasi may UN convention about electronic and digital signatures. So, and we learned, no, na our laws are more stricter than the US and other countries. Kaya at if complicated din niya. So right now, from 2020, like the entire credentials and documents issued within TWALA are just 3,000 documents. But for the first 6 months of 2022, it reaches to around 20,000 documents. No? So before, parang I think mga 5-10 companies na yung gumagamit. Ngayon, around 300 companies na. We have paying customers like a bank, a pharmaceutical company, a retail company. And now, since we receive funding from the Department of Science and Technology, nabigyan kami ng audience sa government. So the PhilSys is talking to us about expanding the capability of the national ID. And we're doing POCs. No? We are in the process of doing POCs with different government agencies. No? That includes, hindi ko alam kung sabihin, pero sinabi ko na sa ibang So Bangko Sentral, DOSTP Shared now is using the app, no, as a POC, and we're finalizing the MOA with the Advanced Science and Technology Institute and many other government agencies, no. And we're talking to different sub-agencies pa rin ng government so they can try it kasi they really need it daw sa government, no. So yun yung hindi siya naging madali, sobrang hirap niyang gawin. So and iba pa yung business ng TWALA Identity sa TWALA Sign. So and meron din kaming blockchain network na niche siya na blockchain specific for digital identity and digital signature. So we built the protocols for that. So bali 3 company yung binibuild namin all together ng sabay-sabay. So medyo mahirap siya. It took us like almost 3 years. No? 1 year for R&D and 2 years na actual operating, validating it in the market.
Thank you for that. 1 year R&D. My gosh, if you're a startup and you're just, alam mo, in 1 year, you're spending a lot of cash just for research and development. For Tetrix naman, what are the challenges right now? Kasi definitely we've been hearing a lot of blockchain. But in your company, what are the challenges that you have right now running it one? Kasi Jeff was able to share it naman with us.
Yeah, for us, it's almost the same, no? You have to have this R&D process kasi you have to understand first and foremost what the problem is that you're solving. So on our end, we saw that aside from the interoperability issues, no, it's really the people understanding or thinking about how it could be used for their day-to-day lives. So as Jeff said earlier, even the government, no, they're having a hard time understanding digital signature first and foremost, and the second, adding blockchain pa, the layer of security, I would say, and the layer of it becomes sophisticated for them, no. And it's really, through our products, what we're aiming to have. People could use it in their day-to-day lives, no? Sorry. Yeah. Just trusting the process of understanding, making them understand and feel being secure about what they're sharing, what they're using. So this is what we're targeting right now, since there are a lot of projects out there. And we're trying to attack one specific problem, which is, aside from cryptocurrencies, NFTs, what are the enterprise use cases that
blockchain can enable, there are a lot. I mean, there are companies using it for their internal logistics and accounting. And I also heard that even big brands like Intel is using it to check their logistics, whether or not the products that they do are fraudulent or even if it's tampered or not. So again, those are for their use cases. No? So for normal people, we wanted them to understand and feel that this is a technology that eventually we will jump into, that we don't even realize it's actually running on top of blockchain technology. So this is what we're trying to make people understand with our application. So we have Link and Pitaka. The reason why we started with the wallet is that so we can play around with it, make people feel that it's more user-friendly, right? And with Link, what we aim to do is, like, as Jeffrey said, they're collecting information. You could store it securely, right? And where you can easily share it and allow you to take control of it in a much user-friendly way. So aside from that, of course, this will expand beyond what we're trying to do. People would eventually build something like this, or people would build or expand the uses that we have, right? So it's just allowing us to explore, right now. So that's where we are right now, and we're trying to expand it day by day.
Thank you for that. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you for that one as well. So, Iya naman, I have a separate question for Iya. Iya, syempre, I have a heart for women in tech, okay? Kaya even the Web3 panel namin talaga, we really have to make sure there's a women representation in all our talks. So, for Iya, being a woman in tech in a company na tapos blockchain pa, what are your experiences? And perhaps this will be the question na rin for the entire group here. How would you encourage these attendees natin and all watching online to explore blockchain? Because if this is the future and this is really disrupting everything that we're gonna do in the coming years, the first question for Iya is more on how is it being in the women in tech, and how would you encourage other as well to explore this kind of industry, particularly the blockchain?
So I am actually very lucky to be in a company that they see me as a girl, they only treat me as a girl, kunyari hindi ako pwede magbuhat. But in technical inputs, they value it on an equal level as my male counterparts. A few years ago, it was really difficult kasi the industry was quite sexist. Because, for example, when I say that I'm in IT, they immediately think na I'm front-end siya or I designer siya. But when I say, oh no, I'm working in back-end and infra, tas parang, no, where's your boss? Things like that. But it's not like that anymore in IT because I'll set your expectations, especially now in Web3. Para tayo naging equal playing ground because the aim of Web3 right now is to give autonomy to people. So if in the industry we don't do that, then it's kind of counterproductive and really the opposite of what we're doing in Web3. So to set your expectations, Web3 is not even the cutting edge, it's in the bleeding edge. Like almost every day, there are things that are changing, and the one thing that you can only kind of rely on is documentation. So if you want to delve into Web3, please expect that there's not a lot of good documentation. It's like having a set of Lego blocks na nawawala yung instruction manual. But the good thing about it is our community is very helpful. So you can always expect someone to be willing to teach you what they know. And when you learn, you can always expect someone to ask you your input, what are your thoughts about this? Because it's it's in the bleeding edge. Parang lahat tayo, we're starting on the same level. Tech or non-tech, if you enter it now, you're also like, kahit naman kami in the industry na matagal na, we're also just learning it now. Like, it's so new. So this is a good time to enter. So, kayo guys.
Yeah, well, for everybody watching, no, first and foremost, as you said, it's a playing field already for everyone. And beyond just being a level playing field, no, all industries would benefit with this technology kasi. So meaning to say, if you're in education, if you're doing financial services, if you're doing marketing and stuff like that, everybody is actually going to benefit, or I would say almost all industries would really benefit from this technology. May it be one process or the whole entire framework of their company, no? So the reason why is because of the underlying technology behind DLTs, no? Which is again was taught earlier. So yung tatlong yun. And these things are key to our day-to-day lives. Kasi, to be honest, trust is something that you don't get easily right now, no? These days. Maraming scams, maraming fraudulent activities. And we wouldn't want to play or participate in an environment or give it our all, no, without having that sense of security. So with this technology na mawawala na yung issue na yon, yung security, yung factor of security, it's now easier for you to explore, di ba? So that's the reason why everybody is participating. So as you can see, mandaming contributors in one project, right? And the reason behind that is because of that level of security and trust that is already there in that system. So I'm encouraging everybody to try to look into what you're doing in life and try to apply these core, I would say, fundamentals that blockchain has, and try to see if there is something that it could help you, improve whatever it is that you're doing. So we saw ours. We saw that, for example, I'm doing a different industry before. I'm doing construction and industrial facilities before. So that's increasing, productivity rates and stuff like that. So that's what I'm seeing moving forward that I'll be focusing on personally, allowing blockchain technology to support us. Yeah.
For me, I think in agreement to the ladies and the guy here, it's very difficult, no, for coding. And I super agree what you said with the ever-changing tech no blockchain. Like when we were doing the prototype of the ID before, 6 months, no, nakapag-build kami. And then biglang may nagbagong standards. No, we were building ERC 725, 735, and then there came SBTs. No, and we were like assessing like what type of blockchain ang gagamitin namin. Do we need to build our own? But since we want interoperability, wider use, we decided nga, nagdalawa na lang yung option namin. Either we do Solidity and EVM or Rust and WASM-based network. No, so sobrang tagal ng R&D na to at nagbabago siya ng nagbabago. No, parang, okay, akala natin ito na, no, pero hindi pala. So, and problema yung mga developers, no? Wala kaming babaeng developers, puro lalaki lahat. So, nagpapasok kami ng mga QAs na girls, no? And Charlie is like the only girl in the founding team. No? And it's very difficult na mag-proceed, no, sa startup. There's a point na tutuloy pa ba natin to? Like 2 years na walang nangyayari sa ginagawa natin. It's like mahirap i-convince yung education part, no? So we're trying to explain blockchain to our customers. Where in fact, they don't care about blockchain, no? So they care about solving their issues. No, as a tech guy, no, bago pumasok si Charlie sa team namin, nagpipitch kami sa mga clients at in-explain namin yung blockchain at hindi nila naiintindihan. So nagbago yung sales strategy namin. Okay, we pitch the problems, no? And they don't care about blockchain at all. Parang, is that secure? Okay. Are you using blockchain? Is that secure? Okay. We don't need to know the nitty-gritty of the thing. So nagbago entirely yung pitch decks namin. That's when we started na makakuha na ng customers. Kasi na-intimidate pala sila dun sa blockchain. At wala lang akong alam sa sales eh. 3 tech guy kami nagsimula and then bago namin pinasok si Charlie because we realized na, okay, we don't know things about sales, about business at all, no? So, yun yung mga challenges namin. And tama si Emma na It's more of the day-to-day talaga, no? Na without them realizing na gumamit sila ng blockchain. And we believe na growth will not come from crypto natives people. It will come from Web2 people using the technology without realizing na it's actually blockchain powering it. And contrary to the belief na NFTs and cryptocurrencies lang yung blockchain or DLTs, no? There's so many ways, no? Maybe the NFTs and the cryptocurrencies are just the gateway, no, entry point for people to know. Mas madali kasi siyang maintindihan, no? Mas madaling, a consumer type, no? Kaysa sa mga enterprise type na mga use cases ginagawa ng Tetrix ng Tuwala. So I think moving forward, mas yung education part, like mga ganitong event, mas naiintindihan natin yung technology.
Yes, I definitely agree on that one. So, do we stand up? Thank you, everyone. Have a final photo for the tokens lang of appreciation to our speakers for today. So, again, plugging Tetrix, Tuwala, and Telino Ventures Lab.
Can we call on one of the project heads to
Thank you.
please take a photo with our panelist, Miss Bianca?
Thank you, Bianca. Sorry, tagba dead air, no? Sige, dadadala ko games.
Again, a round of applause for our panelists today. Thank you all for taking the time to join our morning session, KYC Know Your Codes in Blockchain. Next up, Token for Granted, how to launch an NFT project. So for the most awaited part,